Hello, hello, and welcome back for another adventure in the cookie jar. Today we are doing the 21st recipe from the Devil's Food Cake Murder. It is called Nutmeg Snaps. So it's not a very long recipe. There's not very many ingredients. You are having to chill it overnight. So what you're going to need is 1 cup salted butter softened, 2.5 cups dark brown sugar. Pack it down in the cup and you measure it. With that, it says if you don't have dark brown sugar, you don't have to rush right out to buy it. As far as I can tell, there are 3 types of brown sugar. One is called brown sugar, another is called light brown sugar, and the third is called dark brown sugar. Light brown sugar has the least molasses and dark brown sugar has the most. If you have regular brown sugar in the house, just add half a teaspoon of molasses to your mixing bowl and you'll have dark brown sugar. Okay. I found it at Walmart. I'd never actually seen it before, but 2 large eggs, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons ground nutmeg, 3.5 cups all-purpose flour, 2/3 dried apricot, 2/3 cup dried apricots chopped, measure after chopping, and then about half a cup of extra sugar for rolling your dough balls in. It has a note, if you're using ground nutmeg in the jar and it's old, do go out and buy a new jar. Unlike fine wine, nutmeg doesn't age well. It tends to taste like soap. If you grate your own nutmeg, that's preferable. Just use 1 teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg instead of 2 teaspoons of ground nutmeg that it calls for in the recipe. Hannah's first note. Although you can certainly make this recipe by hand, it's a lot easier with an electric mixer. And then refrigerate overnight. Or at least 1 hour overnight is fine too. You're going to bake them at 350 with parchment paper or spray them with nonstick spray. You're going to make your balls, roll them in sugar, bake them off 12 to a sheet, flatten them down, bake them 350 for 8 to 12 minutes. Let them sit on a wire rack to cool. These yummy nutmeg snaps can be stored in an airtight container or in a covered cookie jar for up to 1 week. They freeze beautifully if you stack them like coins in a wrapper, roll them in foil, and place the rolls in freezer bags. Yield approximately 6 dozen cookies depending on cookie size. These cookies make great dunkers. Bill always dunks his in his coffee when he comes into the cookie jar for an afternoon break. Mother does it too, but please don't mention it. If you see her, I wasn't supposed to tell anyone because she says it isn't proper etiquette. So, that being said, everything's laid out. Let's get started. Is everything that we're going to need for this video. So the first step we're going to do is we're going to take the softened butter and get it in the mixer. We're going to let this mix up for just a minute. All right, to the bowl, we're going to add our dark brown sugar. Now we're going to drop in our eggs. With the mixer on low, add the baking soda. The salt. And the nutmeg. Now the flour, we're going to add about 1/2 cup at a time. So the last thing we're going to add is the apricots. And I'm just going to get those stirred in. It is very thick. And I noticed this book particularly really likes adding apricots to every recipe. I'm finding it unnecessary. So if you plan on making anything from this book, either sub it out or I hope you really like the apricots. So that is all for this. We're just going to cover it with plastic wrap, put it in the fridge, and we will see you in the morning. So it is the next day. I have scooped and rolled them all. We got 5.5 dozen. We got 68 total. Now they'll go in 350 for 8 to 12 minutes. It took about 40 minutes, but here are our cookies. It's really good. It's chewy, but it's got that crunch from the sugar on the outside. Perfect blend of nutmeg. The apricot actually goes really well with the nutmeg. You can definitely see what they mean by these would be a really good cookie to dunk in your coffee. It actually feels like a perfect time of year to make these cookies. They're very like tip of fall. The apricots still keep them in like a summer region. So I think this is like a perfect cookie for this time of year, actually. Now, next week we are making a strawberry shortbread bar cookie. I don't know if the shortbread is strawberry or if it has strawberries in it, but if you are interested in finding out, join us next week. I hope you have a good one.